My name is Karl McIntosh. I'm at the Dorsey Gallery, and we're doing a film on Emmett Wigglesworth, our master artist, for the Jamaica Art Center. And actually, not just for the Jamaica Art Center, for everyone in the art world. Emmett is a master, has been around a long time, and he was associated with another master, Mr. Otto Neals, who is also featured at the Dorsey Art Gallery. He's the artistic director here. And we have a nice group, and we try to do things that are cultural. Emmett and Otto have been in the cultural world since the 60s with the YUC artists. The YUC artists are well established and are going well. And we want to feature the YUC to the best of our ability. So Emmett and Otto are two of the masters that are featured in this film on Emmett. So we're gonna wrap it up here and see if we can get this film to everybody so that everybody can share in this cultural event with our master artist, Mr. Emmett Wigglesworth. So we hope that everybody enjoy this CD or tape or program or whatever you want to call it, because it's an ancestor thing. We're ancestor based at the Dorsey Gallery, and we hope that the ancestors continue to bless all of us, everyone that sees this tape, everyone, their family and their ancestors, their Aegon. So you will see this, and I hope you enjoy what we did to feature these two permanent artists, masters. Thank you very much.
Meet Emmett Wigglesworth, an 82-year-old New York-based artist who is currently a creative resident at the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning in Jamaica Queens. Now, Mr. Wigglesworth found some time to sit down with Arts of Cultures TV to explain how some artists choose to send a message through their work.
An artist has the right to select how he or she wants to use their art or what form their art should take. If you've selected the role of being a messenger, you're not important, the message is. However, since you have to translate the message, it requires that you put additional efforts into trying to understanding it and getting it right. If you don't get it right, then the spiritual force finds someone else, and that goes on for eternity.
No, I think he has a tremendous knowledge of what is the quality of human being. He really literally inspires us every day by watching him in and out. Emmett come to us and said that he would like to have a workspace and say, please come in and then we'll give you the space. And then he just move in right away and start working like 8 hours a day for 3 months nonstop. And then while watching him work, we say, you know what? Let's do an exhibition.
And the exhibition that Mr. Wigglesworth created is full of vibrant colors, shapes, and faces. And he even came up with a title that will take more than just a second look.
It is not enough to see. One must see through to find truth. That means we live in a world where it's not always what you see. If you have the total use of all your senses, what you see with 5 or 4 is totally different from what you see with 6, 7, or 8. The idea with these open figures was to juxtapose them so that you'd have to move around till you got to the point where you could see something specific when the openings line up on a certain spot on the painting. Now, again, the question always comes in, was I successful at doing it? Well, we'll have to see.
Now, if you are ready to find out if Mr. Wigglesworth's vision is a success, head on over to the Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning, where his work will be on display from September 16th to November 25th, 2016. For Arts of Cultures TV, I'm Tamika Cody.
Hello, my name is Joseph Bell-Bey. I'm affiliated with the Dorsey Art Gallery. Emmett Wigglesworth is a family member of ours, and he's having this wonderful show called Music to Make You See at the JCAL Center in Queens. And he is very, very inventive. And what he has done with the sculpture installations that you see is that you are supposed to look at the paintings that are behind this installation through the holes and actually see the artwork that's hanging on the walls through them. And I think it's a wonderful, ingenious idea of his, and it promotes a beautiful, beautiful installation that makes sense and actually gives the onlooker joy. This whole exhibit is beautiful, and I love the way he has it set up. I love his inventiveness and how he's positioned the sculpture installations so that you can actually see the beautiful work that's hanging on the walls behind them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Catherine Peila, the Director of Programs and Artist Services at Jamaica Center for Arts and Learning. And I want to invite you into Emmett Wigglesworth studio. He's our resident artist, and we're very happy to have him here. He's been with us for the longest time. So please, come. So every day, Emmett Wigglesworth would come to JCAL. He walked from his home and spent about 45 minutes walking here. And he would sign in, he would come down here, and whenever any of us would come visit him, we would find him here at this table. This is his table of ideas and development of his work. This is the latest pieces he's been working on. A lot of them, when we talk to him about what he's thinking about, and which he was very, very generous with sharing his ideas and his work, and really wanting to engage and involve anybody and everybody within the community. And so these pieces were about to be put on the wall behind you. You can see he set up the canvases. And you can see on the other side here, these were latest pieces that he had worked on as well. So Emmett's process is all about his ideas, sketching. He's created these styrofoam pieces you see as small pieces to make sure they worked. This whole series has been, he started this about 30 years ago, and he's slowly putting it together, but it's a hand-cranked mechanical piece that he wanted to create huge, which you'll see upstairs. He created one for the jazz music and the blues music and the relationships. He's always about the fights, like these monsters, the issues that go on in living a life, and to have the powerful African symbols and representation of the warrior and the warrioress that will protect people from the monsters. He has a very, very deep explanation of everything, and when you have a chance to interview him, he will give you all the details. But a brilliant, lovely artist who is a poet, a painter, a sculptor, and I can't say anything more about how fantastic he was. On weekends, he would work with us as a resident artist, and there are the kids on Saturdays here at JCAL. And this is a series of three-dimensional geometric pieces that the children designed, a city where everybody could live peacefully, environmentally, and together as one. And you can see that he starts out with these small pieces, but the children all built this together, and they designed it. And you can see this track around the edge is where people traveled, and there was a bridge they could walk through. So there were no cars, and they would live in peace. It was a really very lovely, lovely
So about
vision.
how many hours would he spend down here sometimes?
He would come from 11 to 1 at least, sometimes 9 to 1. But every day he was here unless otherwise. So, but this is his workroom, and this is the safe haven for anybody to come and talk to Emmett and to see art and to experience art. Also over there on that side are the finished products of the children he worked with on sculpture and recycled elements. They would put together bottles and egg cartons, but they would create these things, and with their imagination. And over here on the floor as well, these are all done with the children on the Saturdays at JCAL's programs. So It's amazing, Emmett's process. Tiny to larger, to styrofoam pieces, to bigger pieces. So these sketches would then go on to this. So he would be here filling them in. He wrote poetry, and you can see on some of these pieces here, the poetry that he had, that he worked on. So it's amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. So this is yeah, and you can, I mean, look at how complex the work is. The work is incredible. The detail, the complexity of it, the imagination. I mean, and the idea, it was always embedded in something about human nature, about what's happening in our world right now. The monsters are oftentimes the angry elements of society, and about the people fighting back, and how he believed in goodness and how people can win, and we will be protected, and we are protected. And you know, and even in the work that he did, even in the suffering, you can find pieces of suffering. It was beautiful, chaotic, but beautiful. And that's one thing that I think Emmett brings to people's lives, is in the chaos and in the failings of us as human beings, and that there is always something good, and good will prevail. And he really truly believed that, and that's what his work is about: hopefulness, but reminding, never forget the things that have happened in with the African diaspora, with the slavery, with the struggles that everybody has, and that you can see it in his work, and the beauty. He was an activist. He marched with Martin Luther King, and so this is Emmett in all of his glory, I think. Thank you.
Go.
Hi, my name is Ify. I am an artist, and I am a student of Emmett's. I met him about 2 years ago, and I really am inspired by his passion and his devotion to making art and working with young people, and really drawing out of them their like cultural background, or like just who they are and where they came from, and just making them know and believe that it's coming from a lineage, and that it would be reflected in their artwork. He's a continued mentor of mine, and I'm really fortunate to have known and met him.
We're now entering the William P. Miller Jr. Gallery, and this is the core of the exhibit that we're looking at today with Emmett Wigglesworth. You see what I see? You see music, you see movement, you see freedom, you see history, you see power, you see all the things that Emmett wants us to see and more. He's such a wonderful artist. And as I had mentioned earlier, in 1959, Wigglesworth began his participation in the civil rights movement. And so what you see is also showing you where we as a people have come from, where we're going, and also our struggles. What you're looking at now is a band. It's a moving band. And Emmett is so creative. If you look at the colors in the band, you'll see it's a band. And Emmett has been so creative in that if you look at the colors and there's movement in the band, you will see the blues, you will see the jazz, and you will see pop. As you can see, the blues is blue, the jazz is an orangey, and you see pop that's shining out at you. And this is the creativity of Emmett Wigglesworth. And also, I would just again, to give you a little history as we go along, during his time working with the Corp, the Freedom School in Selma, he also taught children, and he was very instrumental in the development of the Freedom Theater in San Francisco. He designed the interior and exterior of the Bedford-Stuyvesant Theater in Brooklyn, and it goes on and on. He makes costumes, he has made costumes for plays, and designed stage sets for the Black Spectrum Theatre. And he has exhibited his work in Ghana and throughout the US. He has murals commissioned, or his murals commissioned include private homes, PS 181 Elementary School in Brooklyn. He has work at the Metropolitan Transit Authority, has a beautiful piece at Kings County Hospital, Abyssinia Development Corporation, and the Brooklyn, New York's Children's Center. And we could go on and on and on. His work is a sight to be seen. And in this room, it's the music, it's the flow of the rhythm. And you see, I don't know if you saw the sign, it says music to make you see. We even have a beautiful piece called the Electric Slide that takes us into the party. Now we're moving over and we're going into the ancestors. And he doesn't forget the ancestors. Emmett doesn't forget his community. Emmett gives back to his community. He wants us to think of his community every single day. We are a part of the community. We are what makes the community work, and we are also a part of what makes the community that does not work. And you'll see it here in this area, and in the work that he does, and in the statues that he's made. They're about our people in general, the diaspora, the movement, the sound, the drums. He's just amazing. That's all I can say. He is certainly a Renaissance man, and his work is to be seen by all. I can't tell you, and it takes my breath away. It's unbelievable. When you look at his work, I also want you to see. Which one? There was one of them. Which was the one I liked?
I liked your slide.
Okay. No, but there's one of the. Remember, I was saying his poetry and what he says is so exacting, and you can see it in his work. So, for instance, the piece that we're looking at now, it says, "You should not have to live in fear of what's coming behind you, unless you recreated the monster." So this is what I'm saying. He's just so profound in what he says. Let me take you to another one that Emmett has things to say. He has something to say in, "Because you've fallen is no reason to stay down. Reach out for the helping hands." And like I said, you have to look at his work carefully, slowly, take your time, absorb what you see, and think. It makes you think.
My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you. Are the stars out tonight? I don't know if it's cloudy or bright. I only have eyes for the moon may be high, but I can't see a thing. maybe millions of people go by, but they all disappear from view.
name is Emmett Wigglesworth. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I came to New York, I think in '57. I had just come out of the Marine Corps, and I got involved in the civil rights movement in Philadelphia. When you're an artist, you kind of always know it, but you don't know what to do with it. I was constantly, and I call it doodling. I kept making circles, and then I extended the circles, but I knew it was more than that. Then I learned to develop those scribbles to the next stage and to the next stage, and then suddenly, I became aware of what the significance of the scribbles. But I also became aware of the power of the arts. And the power of the arts, they're dangerous, because I realized that the arts could be used to humanize. But the danger there is that if you misuse them, they can dehumanize. The artist is primarily a messenger. You're here just like everybody else to serve humanity. The beauty of the Wayusi, I think, is that every member has made a contribution to the community. When you understand that you're a messenger, you can't stand still. And the Wayusis have been all across the United States.
My name is Otto Neals. I'm here to talk about Emmett Wigglesworth, the fantastic artist who had a one-man show at the Jamaica Art Center. I first met Emmett here almost 60 years ago at the Fulton Art Fair. Now, I've been a participant at the Fulton Art Fair for 61 years, and it was at that time I met Emmett along with other fantastic artists. Emmett and I have been involved in many shows other than the Fulton Art Fair over the the years. The Fulton Art Fair, the Dorsey Art Gallery, the Jamaica Art Center, and so on. Emmett and I had been involved in a number of projects, including a project at the Brooklyn Children's Center, which is located not far from here in Bed-Stuy, at the Brooklyn Children's Center, where Emmett has a 60-foot mural on the walls there, and I have a life-size sculpture of a little boy. Another project Emmett and I had involved in was at the Kings County Hospital, where Emmett has a 23-foot mural on the ground floor in the new building at Kings County Hospital, and I have a mural on the second floor of the same building. Now, Emmett and I have gone back, like I said, over about close to 60 years, and we've involved ourselves with the Fulton Art Fair, the Wayusi Artists, of which we're all members. That's an organization that started about 50 years ago up in Harlem, but included artists like myself from Brooklyn, and Emmett, who originally came from Philadelphia, but he's now rooted in Brooklyn and in Queens. And like I said, we were associated with the Dorsey Art Gallery, where a number of other artists are involved, like Karl McIntosh, who will probably be able to add to what I've just said.
Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to say that I'm glad to be a part of this conversation here of a master talking about another master and a friend. They're like twins, and they have collaborated art with thousands of people. And they're now, Otto is now sharing his story with Emmett and himself. And that's all I can say is thank you, Otto. Thank you, Emmett. And thank you, the Creator, for having them share their story with us. Thank you very much.